All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep you guys here any longer than I have to. So my name is Ashley Owens. I'm the city secretary, and we have a very special guest with us tonight. Mayor Wes Mays would like to say a few words. I'll turn it over to him now.
Wow, when she said she was going to keep it short, she wasn't kidding. So I want to thank you on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Coppell for the work that you're about to do. Without you, we would not be successful. I don't typically throw our sister cities under the bus, but I'm going to tonight. I was in Denton today, and I was driving to meet some guys from UNT, and I was in a residential area, and next door to 3 houses was a chiropractic office. And next to that, in a house, I mean, these were not buildings, was a law office. And as I was coming back home, I realized that I was almost bottoming my car out on the roads and from all the potholes. Now, I know that you, in your various committees, aren't going to have responsibilities for potholes, but some of you will have responsibilities for zoning. And I guarantee you others are going to have responsibilities for what our parks look like, or how our library operates, or I can keep going. And these are very important functions that you're going to do for us. We often get phone calls from our citizens that say, hey, I want this, and it's like, well, the council really doesn't do ideas at that level. That will work up through our boards and commissions. So, please contact, so-and-so, and I'll be happy to give you the name, and they can work through that, and then it will come up to us for funding. And that is the function of the boards and commissions. You guys are the thought originators in the city, not the city council. All we do is just approve the funding. So we really do appreciate everything that you do. I really wish I know everybody personally, and I do not. I'd love to meet you. Just be aware, I am horrible with names. So if you meet me, if we introduce ourselves tonight and you meet me next week, please have no expectation that I'm going to remember your name. I'll probably remember your face, but I will really struggle with names, so I apologize for that. Before we get going, does anybody have any questions or anything you need to say other than I do? All right, well, listen, this is going to be very short and sweet. We have a little oath of office to take, so if everybody will stand up and raise your right hand. And when I say state your name, give me your real name, not state your name. So, and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the boards and commissions of the City of Coppell, of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state and of this city. So help me God. Thank you very much. Congratulations. So please be seated. I'm going to turn it back over to the lady of short words, Miss Ashley Owens. And by the way, I am, we all like her. This city would not execute without her. So thank you very much for your time that you're about to spend, and I really look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
So another special guest that we have tonight is our Deputy City Manager, Kent Collins, and he would just like to say, again, a few short words.
Yes, emphasis on few short words. Just on behalf of the staff and all of the liaisons that you will work with, serving on boards and commissions, we thank you for the work that you're going to do, the time that you spend. We know that you all have busy lives. And giving back and volunteering and serving the community the way that you have decided to do that. We appreciate that because it really is important to the work that we do as city staff. So on behalf of all of us, thank you very much.
Mayor and Kent, you are more than welcome to join us, or you are more than welcome to go have dinner with your family.
I think I'm going to be like Mike Land and go join my wife.
Yes, I think your wife recommends that. All right, well, let's get right into it. Again, on behalf of the City Secretary's office and staff, I want to thank you guys for going through this process with us. We know that it is a long and laborious process at times. We ask you to come in and interview. We ask for a bunch of information, so you all willingly go through this with us, and we very much appreciate that. So let's get into who we are. And these are just high level. I'm not going to run through Kent's speech again, but so who we are as a city, this is how we are made up. The city manager is the chief executive officer of the city and is responsible for all of the administration and affairs of the city. Our city manager, Mike Land, if you've ever met him, oversees day-to-day municipal operations. They draft a budget and implements and enforces the council's policies as well as legislative initiatives. Our city attorney is Robert Hager, if you've ever met him. He is a licensed and practicing attorney within the state of Texas who serves as a legal advisor to city council as well as our city manager. He represents the city, excuse me, in any litigation and all legal proceedings. And then there's the city secretary. Obviously, I'm responsible for coordinating the application of the boards and commissions process, and I walk you all through this very fun process. I also provide notice of council meetings, maintain the minutes of the proceedings. I serve as the election administrator for the city. So when you all come in to vote at Town Center, which thank you so much, that's the purview of my office. I also serve as the custodian of all the ordinances and the resolutions of the city. I'm the records management officer and also process requests through the Public Information Act. So why are you all here tonight? Well, you were appointed as board members, and again, thank you. But the purpose of this specific orientation is to provide you training that kind of goes a little bit further than what you would see at the Attorney General's level. This will give you insight into how Coppell operates, as well as why we do the things that we do. And also, if you didn't grab one, the handbook is just your tangible takeaway that if you ever need to refer back to it, it's a very helpful piece of information. And if you ever lose it, it is also online. Okay, so let's talk about what guides us. The city has a code of ethics that applies to all appointed and elected officials. The code of ethics outlines standards of behavior as well as civility, and this adheres to you while you are an appointed official. The link to the code of ethics was included on your boards and commissions application. If you all remember, there was a small link and a certification that you at least acknowledge it. This is a recent update. Prior to this code of conduct, the code of conduct had not been updated in almost 20 years. So the handbook goes into further detail about what the code covers, but if you'll just read through the section or the ordinance when you need something to help you go to sleep at night, that would be very helpful to us. The review of the code of ethics will occur annually and with updates happening as needed. All right, so this is where the fun happens. If you all have taken the Open Meetings Act, this is training. This is going to be a little bit of a repeat, but just bear with me. The Texas Open Meetings Act, or AKA the OMA, that's what I'm going to refer to it as, requires that government entities keep public business open to the public. So this means that your governmental decisions must remain open and public and accessible. So all meetings of the City Council, as well as your boards and commissions, must be conducted in accordance with the OMA. That means that there must be a quorum present at your meetings. And if you don't know what a quorum is, for your specific board, it's normally 4, but the library board has a quorum of 5. Agendas are required to be posted 72 hours in advance. And the postings must be done at the bulletin board outside and online, as well as anywhere that the meeting is held that is not town center. So if you ever have an animal services meeting that is held at the shelter, you would see a posting of your agenda at that building. This is just to notify the public that there is a meeting happening here. So the OMA also gives the public the opportunity to speak at your meetings. This is called citizens' appearance, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Members of the public are allowed to sit in and listen to your meetings, and if they would like to address the body, they would do so at the citizens' appearance. But other than that, they cannot disrupt your meeting. So at the designated time that they can speak, that's the only time that they can speak. So this is just for your information if that ever happens. Obviously, the OMA is very important to the city of Coppell as well as to the state of Texas. And that's why we ask you to complete the Attorney General's training not every time you get appointed, but when you get appointed. And if there are updates, we would ask that you retake that training whenever that happens. I'm not sure when that's going to happen though. So OMA prohibits the ability to discuss city business through email communication, I was going to say letters. I don't know why I was going to say that you would write letters to each other. That came through my brain. Through text messages, through email. So again, I want to stress that all decisions must be made in a public meeting. Occasionally, you all will have social events with your board, and that is great. We encourage that. We want you all to have fellowship with each other. But in the case that that does happen, there could be a quorum present of you all. And that would just require that we post a notice of quorum and state that no public business will be discussed while you all are socializing. So that was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions? And I want to make sure that this can be a conversation. So if I ever say something that doesn't make any sense, please stop me and I'll go over it. So next is the Public Information Act, and I'll refer to that as the PIA. The Public Information Act gives the public the right to request access to government information. Citizens have the right to see how their government is operating and how their tax dollars are being spent. So you might be asking, what is government information? Well, that is any information that is collected, assembled, or maintained by or for a governmental body. So that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. And this affects you all because you are members of boards and commissions. The boards and commissions will produce documents. They will produce records. And those records are accessible by they are available to access by citizens. So again, that's why it's important that we ask you to go through this training for the Attorney General's office. And if you haven't turned in your certificates, please do so. The City Secretary's office is responsible for processing and compiling and then disseminating back to the requester the Public Information Act requests. So if you ever were to receive a PIA request, please send that to me. That is completely within my scope of work, and I would be happy to assemble those documents and get those to those people. So again, just like I mentioned with the OMA, the city recommends keeping city business public. So that means any sort of communications that you're having outside of the meetings need to be brought into the public realm. So let's just say you were having a text message conversation with a group text with 5 other members of your board. That is considered public information. That is accessible through a request of the Public Information Act. So, and I don't want to scare anybody, but let's just say you were having that conversation on your phone and somebody asked for those communications. I would then have to come to you individually and ask for you to place your phone and watch you take screenshots and then send those to me. I don't want to do that. That is not something that I look forward to and not anything that I enjoy. So if that ever comes to be within your board or you know that it's happening, please just let me know. I would love to take care of it before it gets out of hand. So, again, it's very important to remember that. All right, so now that the really scary sounding stuff is over with, I'll talk about our foundation as well as a quick history lesson on the city of Coppell. So Coppell was founded in 1892 and was incorporated in 1955 by a vote of its citizens. So from 55 to 1986, Coppell was a general law city. And that just means that the form of government was determined by the population size, as well as the year that the city was incorporated. So rising population numbers allowed for the city of Coppell to hold an election in 1986 to become a home rule city. And that means that the home rule charter of the city of Coppell was adopted by a vote of its citizens, and the home rule charter gives the city the power of self-government. So in other words, local control, just being able to make decisions on its own. If you would think about the charter as being like the Constitution, so it dictates how we are supposed to operate. The charter adopted the council manager form of government, and in a council manager form of government, an elected city official serves as the primary legislative body, which again is our city council. They provide policy direction, legislative initiatives, and they appoint the chief executive officer, AKA our city manager. Coppell's mayor and city council are elected at large. So that means that all the members serve the entire city, not a district or a ward type system. And our council consists of a mayor as well as 7 council members. If you just got to meet Mayor Mays, if you've never met any of the other council members, I hope you did because you interviewed. So you met at least 2 of them. Please, if you ever see these guys on the street, say hello. They would love to know that you're a board and commission member, and they're so happy for your service. So, all right, so let's talk about you guys. So similar to a charter, unless it's state required, each board and commission is created through an ordinance, and they have bylaws. So these are done through city council approval. Bylaws dictate the makeup of a board or commission and establish a board's purpose, as well as other important information. Coppell does have 3 boards that are required by statute, and quickly I will run through just the purpose and reason why they exist. So the Animal Services Advisory and Appeals Board is to hear an appeal from any citizen concerning the denial or revocation of their pet's registration for violation of the ordinances pertaining to animal services. The Board of Adjustment was created for the purpose of interpreting or modifying zoning regulations, and they also hear variances. The CRDC, or the Coppell Recreation Development Corporation, is charged with the responsibility of authorizing the expenditure of the proceeds of the quarter-cent sales tax. No, it's not quarter-cent. It's half-cent sales tax. I'm sorry. The Economic Development Foundation is incorporated to support economic and community development growth in the city of Coppell. The Ethics Review Panel is a new board. I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but they hear the Code of Ethics complaints. The Future-Oriented Approach to Residential Development Task Force, otherwise known as FORD. The task force evaluates the future needs of the community from a residential housing perspective, and they provide assistance for ongoing housing needs to meet the goals of the Vision 2040 plan. The Library Board serves as an advisory board. The board is responsible for making informed recommendations regarding library services and programs. The Parks and Recreation Board was created to advise both City Council and the Parks and Recreation Department, otherwise known as the Community Experiences Department, regarding the planning and development of park and recreation facilities. The Planning and Zoning Commission, their responsibility is to make amendments to and updates of the comprehensive master plan, changes to the zoning ordinance, subdivision plats, zoning requests, and other items included in the physical development of Coppell. And the Smart City Board will evaluate the future needs of the community from a smart city perspective, and smart city technologies will be components to the Vision 2040 plan. And the Special Ethics Legal Counsel was also created for the purpose of the Code of Ethics And they are a practicing attorney, and they will be available if and when we ever do receive a code of ethics complaint. Does anybody have any questions? Because I know I'm talking really fast. All right. So let's get into the makeup of your board. So all boards, actually most boards, will have a chair, a vice chair. So the chairperson will preside over all of the meetings of the board. And in the absence of the chairperson, the vice chairperson will preside. So typically, these positions are elected at your first meeting of the year. So a regular member is a voting member who has been appointed by council. An alternate is a non-voting member who has been appointed by council but may vote in the case of a regular board member's absence. So I know a few of you had questions about that. You were appointed as alternates, so that's just a very simplified explanation. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer those. And then we have our youth advisors. So youth advisors are non-voting members who were appointed by City Council, and they are in the 7th through the 11th grade. And currently the Smart City Board, the Library Advisory Board, and the Parks and Recreation Board have youth advisors. This is the first year that the Smart City Board has youth advisors, so we're very excited for them. Where are you, ladies? 1, 2, yay! Thank you. All right. So what to expect when you get to your first meeting. So you will receive an agenda by your from your board secretary. So he or she is responsible for compiling the items in conjunction with the chair as well as the staff liaison. You know what? Let me go back. I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention staff liaison. So you all will have staff liaisons to your boards. So animal services. The animal services officer is your staff liaison. The Planning and Zoning Commission, they have 2 staff liaisons. They have the Development Services Administrator as well as the Senior Planner liaison to their board. But you also get a secretary, and that is also going to be a member of staff. He or she helps compile your agendas, keeps your minutes, puts your recordings online, and is basically your support. So if you ever have any questions, those 2 people are great resources for you, the chair, the liaison, and your secretary. All right, so let's get into your agenda. So an agenda is basically a list of things that need to be done or considered at your meeting, and typically contains the date, hour, place, and subject of your meeting. First on the agenda will be a call to order. So this can only happen once a quorum has been reached. So whenever you have 4 voting members in the room, that's your quorum, or 5. And that is the only time that the meeting can start. Like I talked about, citizens' appearance. So a citizen's appearance is typically going to be at the top of your agenda. We want to give the public ample time and opportunity to be able to speak in front of the board, but we always like to include that at the top so they feel like they're being heard. It just helps with transparency. So citizens are allowed 2 minutes to speak in front of the board, and at the discretion of the chair or the vice chair, their time can be extended. They can speak on any item that is listed on the agenda or not listed on the agenda. They have their 2 minutes to speak. So then we get into public hearings. So typically, you're going to see public hearings on your Board of Adjustment meeting, your Planning and Zoning meetings, and possibly the CRDC meetings. So public hearings give the citizens an opportunity to speak on specific items that are listed as public hearings. And the speakers get 5 minutes to speak on the subject of the agenda item. The rest of the agenda for most of you will consist of presentations, discussions, any sort of recommendations that are needed from the board to City Council. And it must be accurately listed on the agenda. So once the meeting is done, everybody's favorite item is adjournment. You get to go home. And once that's done, you all are done for the night. And I will say that's where conversation regarding business of the board needs to stop. So let's talk about attending your meetings. So last year, council adopted a new attendance policy for boards and commissions members. The policy requires board members to give advance notice to the chair or the staff liaison if they will be excused from a regular or special called meeting for the absence to be designated as excused. So the definition that I have up here is what we consider an excused absence. And if you're a human being in this world, this is pretty much what happens to all of us at any given time. So we understand that life happens. We want you to attend to what needs to be attended to. But if something does happen in the middle of your day and you know that you have a board meeting at night, just let your chair know, let your staff liaison know. That just helps us notate that you're going to be absent, as well as if council ever asks for a attendance report, we do provide that information so that they just have a better understanding of why our members are missing meetings. So the attendance applies to all members. So it's regular, alternates, and youth advisors. That's why it's very, very important that you all attend your meetings. If advance notice is not given, so this happens, but you can't call us, you can't let us know. Again, that's understandable. But we would designate that absence as being unexcused. So just excused is notice given, unexcused, no notice was given. All right, so how does the policy apply? If a board member is absent, whether it's excused or unexcused for 3 meetings within a 12-month period, the position is automatically considered for review by City Council. So that just, to me, it's pretty plain and simple. Any combination of 3, it triggers a review by City Council. We will provide that information to council, what they're designated as. But it is still council's purview to review you all's attendance. They are the appointing body. So an internal policy of ours is that if any of our members reach 2 absences, and it's excused or unexcused, it doesn't matter. Again, the combination doesn't matter. I will reach out directly to just inform you that, hi, you've missed 2 meetings. I just want to let you know if a 3rd happens, this is the process that we're going to go through. It's not to scare anybody. It's not to freak anybody out. It's just, I feel like it's good practice to let you guys know where you are. All right. So an alternative to missing a meeting, we do have the ability to have you attend meetings remotely. So this is the section of the government code that allows for that. Obviously, we all just came through a pandemic, so we're very comfortable and knowledgeable on how to attend things remotely. The city of Coppell does have the technology and the staff to be able to accommodate that. So if you do need to attend a meeting remotely, that can happen. All that we ask is that you just give us advance notice so that we can properly prepare for Zoom meetings, sending you links, making sure that we've tested your equipment properly. But essentially, the code just lays out that you must have your camera on, you must have audio working, and if anybody has decent internet speed, this is possible. We definitely have it on our end, so we will help you out with that. But having you present, even remotely, again, just provides transparency to the public if a member of the public were watching your meetings. They want to know who the voice in the sky is. So does anybody have any questions? All right. I did it in 30 minutes. But I am happy to answer any questions that you all have. If we want to talk offline, we can do that as well. But my office is just upstairs. I think you all have my email, you have my phone number. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
How will we identify our first meeting? Do we have monthly meetings or bi-monthly or weekly?
Okay. Can you tell me what board you're appointed to?
Smart City.
Okay. So typically the Smart City Board meets on a monthly basis. And your board secretary, member of staff, does have all of your contact information. So once the year ends, she will more than likely reach out just to welcome you to the board, and then provide a timeline for when your first meeting will be. And then probably introduce you to the staff liaison as well. So if this is your first time that you've been appointed, staff will be reaching out shortly after this year has concluded to get you prepared for your next year. Does that answer your question? Okay.
You mentioned, I think it was Attorney General's training. Is that something we're supposed to already have done?
Not today. I would like it if you did it by January 1.
How do we do it?
Okay. That was sent in an email when you were appointed, but I can resend it to you. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
If we're on our second tour of duty, do we have to take it again?
No, ma'am. So if you have completed the training within 2019, I believe 2019 was the last update that the Attorney General's office did, that's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. But all newbies, you must take the training. And I will email you multiple times. All right. Again, I'm available. Please let me know if you have any questions. But you all have a good Tuesday night. Thank you.